administration reacting to a wave of Palestinian terrorist attacks against Israel. Well, maybe you might want to look at the UN. Touro Institute professor Ann Bajewski, the president of Human Rights Voices, watches the UN very closely and heard a speech on Friday that you thought everyone should know about. Samantha Powers, our ambassador to the institution, what did she say?
It was shocking. It's the worst speech I've ever heard from an American ambassador at the United Nations in the last 30 years.
Now, that's a big statement, Ann. Why do you say that?
It's a big statement because Israelis are being slaughtered in the streets, and old men in buses, children riding bicycles. And the American ambassador had one opportunity to stand up and say, stop. Stop murdering Jews. Stop the Palestinian leader. Stop whipping up Jew hatred by fabricated stories of Muslim humiliation on the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And instead, she talked moral equivalence. Both sides, Palestinian frustration, cycle of violence. She poured fuel on the fire.
Well, we had an op-ed in this morning's paper by Israel's deputy foreign minister titled, "Abbas, we welcome every drop of blood spilled in Jerusalem." Isn't that the statement that matters, Ann? What Abbas is saying? Why does it matter what Samantha Powers says in a small room at the UN?
It matters because she has a global megaphone. She sits there and she green-lighted terrorism. Everybody at that table understood from that speech that she threw Israel under the bus.
And she said that we don't condone terrorism. She was very clear that she does not support terrorism. How can you make that statement?
All forms of terrorism, both sides. She couldn't figure out what was right and wrong.
And so why wouldn't she condone it, Ann? What's the political motivation for not calling terrorism what it actually is?
Well, it goes back to the Obama administration from the beginning. Essentially, it's not true that this president is weak, leading from behind. He's leading in the wrong direction. He's setting the stage for, as he has been for many years, to change dramatically our relationship with Israel. And that's what the UN game plan is. Essentially, it is to deny Israel an actual right of self-defense.
So is Samantha Power the only person whom we should be watching at the United Nations? Or are there other aspects of the UN that we should care about when it comes to our relationship with Israel?
Well, there's French moves, European moves to try to pander to the Arab vote and business associations, which is important to watch. But the key is the United States. We really have an American ambassador run by, of course, her president and the Secretary of State that is dramatically changing our relationship with Israel. So what we've got is a next year, year and a half of watching this, using the United Nations to destroy our fundamental support for the state of Israel on the world stage.
And this is all public. If you want to read the speech, it's up at UN.org. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. We've got an editorial, too, called Knives Against Jerusalem up on WSJ.com. Ann Bajewski, thank you very much.